Hi, I'm Phil Haugen. I want to welcome you to Better Horses TV this week. I want to thank Ernie and his crew for coming down and having us on the show this week. We really appreciate being a part of it. Last episode that I was on, I talked about why I use a simple smooth-mouthed D-ring snaffle to start my horses and to school my horses throughout their life. Today I'm going to talk about advancing on from that. The last episode I was on, we talked about this particular bit right here, which is just a simple smooth-mouthed D-ring snaffle that Classic Equine makes, and this is a bit that I use every day. A lot of my customers use that bit. It's an excellent little bit. And we talked about why the D-ring snaffle is easier for that horse to understand than maybe some other bits that send more than one signal to that horse's body. Because always remember, your bit is just a tool that you use to send messages to that horse's mouth or signals to that horse's mouth. And they have to process that signal and then hopefully give you the response that we're asking for. Okay, so from the horse's perspective, I think when you start to understand that, it's real important that we keep that simple. Okay, now the frustration for a lot of people with this bit right here is they feel like they have no control. Okay, and in a lot of cases that's true, and that all goes back to horsemanship and the presentation. If you're using whatever you're using and you don't have the control and you're not getting the response you're asking for, you're hoping for, it's because that horse does not understand what you're asking it to do. Okay, so that goes back to our horsemanship principles and our fundamentals that we need to help that horse understand what we're asking. Okay, but this bit here, I'm going to show you a couple of the similar D-ring snaffles that I'll advance to as we progress in the training and say we start putting more speed with our maneuvers and our exercises. So there's basically two that I use. The first one is a D-ring snaffle with a twisted wire mouthpiece. Okay? Now this twisted wire mouthpiece is not sharp at all, but it's not as smooth as a smooth mouthpiece, obviously. Now what that will do, say you've been doing exercises where you're putting more speed with your drills and your maneuvers, and with speed comes stiffness. Okay? When horses start to try harder, they have to flex their muscles, and they have a tendency to start to get stiff. Okay? Well, this will send a little bit stronger signal than that smooth mouth D-ring snaffle. Okay? And it'll have just a little bit more grab to it so that horse recognizes it and pays attention to it. Okay? The worst thing that can happen is that you're using a smooth mouthpiece that horse gets to where it's just leaning on it and pushing through it. Okay, because then all you have is two animals bracing against each other. That horse is bracing against you and you're bracing against it. So there'll be times where I'll put a bit like this with a different mouthpiece, with that twisted wire mouthpiece that's got just a little bit more bite to it and a little stronger signal, so that when I take the slack out of my bridle reins, this horse needs to recognize that. Because ultimately, all I want my horse to do is that when I take the slack out of my bridle reins, I want them to start getting ready. Okay, just when that slack starts coming out of the bridle reins, I don't want it to be just when they feel that contact or that pressure. I want that as soon as they feel me start taking the slack out of them bridle reins, I want them looking for that response. And then the last one that I'll switch to, and this would be after the twisted wire mouthpiece, and this is a square mouthpiece. Same setup, same cheek piece, same D-ring snaffle, okay? Now this square mouthpiece will have even a little bit more bite than the twisted wire mouthpiece, okay? So if one starts to get really strong, or if I've got an older colt in, well, older colt, I'm saying like a 3 or 4-year-old that's just bigger and stronger, I'll use something like this for a day or two and get them softened up. Sometimes you have to go with a little more so that they'll soften back up, okay? So that's my tip for this week. Thank you for watching. Go to philhaugenhorsemanship.com for more information on our training program and our clinics coming up. I want to thank Ernie again for having us on Better Horses TV. Have a great week of training. Take care.